Hey everybody, I have a lot of fire extinguishers, as you can see up there, and commonly in my videos I'll whip one of them out and spray it, and when I do spray it, water comes out. For those who don't know, most fire extinguishers are actually filled up with dry chemical. That right there is one that has not been sprayed yet, and therefore it has dry chemical in it. Now when I do spray them and they're empty, I figured out a way to refill them back up with water so I can kind of use them for fun or for protection around the house. My house has a wood stove and water is perfect for putting out wood-involved fires, so I always keep one of these filled up with water and pressurized so that if something ever went wrong I could use it. I do not recommend using the trick I'm about to show you to repressurize extinguishers and putting them back into service. The manufacturer doesn't recommend it, I don't recommend it, but if you're gonna do it, you can do it. And this might come as a surprise, but it's actually kind of fun spraying a fire extinguisher. So here's one that I actively have filled up with water, and yeah. So what I'm going to show you today is how to fill one of these up with water and pressurize it. So the first thing you're going to need is a fire extinguisher. Now you can replace one of the older ones in your house with a new fire extinguisher and then spray the old one out and use that one, or you can just go to the store and get one. These ones are only about $15 to $20. Once the extinguisher is fully discharged of its pressure, you're going to want to go ahead and open it like a water bottle. Now I'm just going to warn you, when you do this for the first time, it will be extremely hard. Some of them will feel impossible to open and others not. Once you do finally get it open, you can go ahead and take it out and you'll just find the tube, and then what you're going to want to go ahead and do is fill this up about 75 to 50% full of water. And we'll go on to the next step. Alright, I've gone ahead and filled mine back up, and then once it's filled up, go ahead and twist it back all the way so that now it is on how it was normally on, and none of the water will escape when you pressurize it. Alright, the next part is going to be the hardest part of the operation. What I do to pressurize the extinguisher is I take a portable hand pump, I take the nozzle of it, and then put it into the nozzle of the fire extinguisher, and then I squeeze the levers of the fire extinguisher, which opens the valve up inside, and then I simply pressure it. Now I normally give it about 200 psi. No, I'm just kidding. 200 psi is way too much. Regardless if the extinguisher is big or small, I find that about 50 psi has always been good enough. So don't use any more than 50 psi. And I do have a gauge right here on the pump so I can see the PSI as I'm pressuring it. And one more note, when you are pressurizing the extinguisher, make sure the nozzle of the extinguisher is pointed away from you and not at anything vital, as if something came loose, you wouldn't want water flying at an expensive camera. So we're going to go ahead and pump it up. 1 foot there, and here we go. And that's all it takes. And when you pressure it up, you can see that the gauge of the extinguisher does read full, so 50 psi was all it needed. But commonly when you do this, it will not read full, as 50 psi is commonly not enough to make it read full. But just note, your extinguisher, even if it doesn't read full, it definitely does have pressure and it will definitely work when you are doing this. If there is a real fire extinguisher that's in service and it's not reading full, you're definitely going to want to replace that fire extinguisher. And once your extinguisher is all pressurized, you can do whatever you want with it. And you could even clean your car. I have a friend that has been known to use these during water fights. And when that happens, he always owns everyone. When you try to repressurize a fire extinguisher with a tube, it gets a lot harder really fast, but it still can be done. I've managed to do it dozens of times. Well, Thank you all for watching and have a great day. I'm not kidding, it's seriously fun. Woo! At the fire department, we have fire extinguishers that are actually meant for water, and they're super big and they hold a lot of water. And they're actually used a lot more often than you would think. I have actually had to use one twice so far. And let me just say, the bigger ones with water, those are a lot much more fun. If you thought that was cool, definitely try using one of the big ones. Have a great day, everybody.